In this lesson, I'm going to show you the difference between absolute and relative cell referencing. In our last lesson, I showed you how to create a formula, and I'm going to show you how to do that again. I'm going to click here in this cell, cell D6, and I'm going to press the equals symbol to start my formula. And then I'm going to click on the cell, and I'm going to do a simple multiplication problem here. So I'm going to click on this cell, not the number, but the cell itself, and you see that in my formula it adds A6 into my cell. And then I'm going to multiply, so I use the asterisk as my multiplication symbol. And then I'm going to multiply it by 7%. So I'm going to click on the cell with 7% in it. And now when I press enter, I get my answer, 176.4. Now when I copy my formula down, because I use relative cell referencing, you notice that I get a bunch of zeros. It doesn't do me any good to use relative cell referencing in this instance because I have just one cell in the second part of my formula. And so therefore it gives me zeros, and here's why. I'm going to do the Control-Tilde keys, and it's going to show me the formulas. And you see that I have A6, which is this cell, times C2, which is this cell, which is a correct formula. That's why I have an answer in that cell. But when you look at the next one, I have A7, which is this cell, times C3, which is this cell, and there's nothing in there. So it's taking that number and multiplying it by 0. That's why my cell answer was 0. And it's the same thing for the rest of them, because the next one is by C4, and then C5, and C6. So because I did relative cell referencing, it takes these cells in order, A6, A7, A8, and 9, and 10, and so on. And then it takes here starting at C2 and it goes down C3, C4, C5 in that order. So I can't use this type of referencing. So let me Control-Tilde back to normal, and I'm going to get rid of the cells here. And what we're going to use is called absolute cell referencing. And in this case, I want these cells to go down. So I'm not going to do anything to those. I'm going to leave them alone at A6, or starting with A6. I'm going to do my multiplication, but this is the cell I want to remain in all my formulas. And yes, I could put 7% in, but you know, I don't want to do that. I want to freeze cell C2 in my formulas, and to do that, once I've put in C2, I press the F4 key, and you're going to notice dollar signs appear in my formula now. And that's going to freeze that cell in all my formulas. So now when I copy down, I have answers to the problem. I don't have a bunch of zeros. It is now multiplying each one of these numbers by 7%. And so when you see the formulas, I press Control-Tilde again, you see that cell C2 is in each of my formulas, and it's there because I put the dollar signs in with it, or I press the F4 key, and that froze that cell into each one of my formulas. So that is the difference between relative and absolute cell referencing, and the cases for when you should use the absolute cell referencing and when you shouldn't.